It's time once again for another edition of the House Whisperer Show on WWDB Talk 860. Stay tuned for expert advice about maintaining your house from the roof to the basement, featuring professional home inspector Jack Milne. And as Jack tells us, every house has a story, and he knows all the stories inside and outside. Jack, good to have you back. How are you?
Great, Barry. It's another Sunday, and I always appreciate being on the air. I've conducted over 100 radio shows, and I try not to overlap them. And when I got this email from a listener, I almost had to go back and look through my archives to see if I had done this topic. And it's really a timely topic, and it's about pre-listing inspections. Are they worth it? And with the real estate market as it is right now, Barry, it's pretty hot. And but if you're a seller and your house seems to have been sitting on the market for what you feel is a little bit too long, listen in today, because I'm going to give you some insight, at least from my perspective as a home inspector. And I hope by the end of the show, you're going to think about this, because with me conducting and my business conducting between 40 and 50 property evaluations a week right now, and we're in the summer. I know we didn't have much of a winter market because it was just horrible. But, if you're sitting back languishing saying, how come my neighbors' houses are being sold and mine's not, I want you to give this show some serious consideration. And it was based off an email. But before we kick in, I want to thank my sponsors because, again, without them, I wouldn't be able to broadcast to you today. So Burrow Exterminating, they do termite and radon testing. They're out of Glenolden, Pennsylvania, and Delaware County. Awesome, awesome company. And I would ask that you visit their website at burrowexterminating.com. Bucksmont Inspections, they are truly the best in on-site sewage evaluations, repair, and design. So for those of you who are up in the country, if you need any assistance, go to bucksmontinspections.com. They're truly the best. Pest Blaster, radon, mold, wood-destroying insects, pest removal. They're actually located out of Hamilton, New Jersey, but they seem to cover a very large territory for Tri-County Inspection Company. So go to pestblaster.com. Very thorough, very friendly, very easy people to work with. So they'll talk about pest removal if you have carpenter bees, carpenter ants, mold, concerned about radon. Give Mike Cantor a call at Pest Blaster. BrainFleshGear.com. Again, it doesn't get any simpler than that. They've hung with me through the years, and I appreciate what they do for me. But for anybody who's looking for unique ideas and designs, you can put on a hat, you can put on a shirt or a T-shirt or whatever. Reach out to them at contact@brainfleshgear.com. And finally, Tri-County Inspection Company. Last week I gave some numbers, but let's do Delaware County today, 610-296-2004, South Jersey 856-853-4224. We've been at this for 30 years and darn proud of my company as well as my staff. And you can always visit our website at tcinspect.com to learn more. So from the email box, Julie from Quakertown sent me this email. Jack, I've lived in my current home for 25 years. My kids are grown and gone, and my husband and I are looking to downsize. My realtor suggested that my husband and I have a pre-listing inspection. Is it worth it? So, Julie, today's topic is based on your email. I'm dedicating the next half hour as to why serious consideration should be given for this type of inspection. So, Julie, this is your show. And please, if anyone has questions or topics you would like me to cover on the show, please email me at thehousewhisperershow@gmail.com. And for any other previous shows, visit thehousewhisperershow.com. So all of July's shows are already posted, as well as the archives back to 2012. So this is your show, and let me help you. So let's get started. Pre-listing inspections, are they worth it? So what I feel is many families are like Julie's. They bought homes in the 1980s, they raised their kids, and established deep roots in their communities. The kids went to the schools, they played baseball, they had Boys and Girl Scouts, and all of a sudden the kids are grown and moved on. So like birds, we raise our young in our nest, we teach them to fly, and with luck and proper guidance, they fly off seeking their own life and adventures as we did when we were their age. So the nest is now empty. Memories are all over our walls, like mine, and mantles, and now it's time to move on yourselves to a place that may be a little bit smaller, maybe without the lawn care to cut and the taxes to pay, but still enough room for the kids to return. So the decision is made to move on. You have an idea where you want to go. You've done your homework. Realtors have been consulted. Comparative market analysis have been completed. And you have an idea now as to how much your home may be worth, but what condition is it really in as to structural, mechanical, and safety. So in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey, home inspection laws state that inspectors must identify what are called material defects. And a seller, also both in Pennsylvania and New Jersey will have to fill out what's called a seller's disclosure form. By the way, the law is much more stringent in Pennsylvania than New Jersey, but I find that these two states do commingle a lot with their documents. So as a seller, you have to identify any issues that have arose during your time within your home, okay? And you have to do it including any homeowner's insurance claims. And that part of the disclosure law was included maybe about 2 years ago. So you have to think, Julie, back to the 25 years of which you have spent in this home. And if you had, like my house, I had terrible damage from Hurricane Sandy to my roof, so I had to replace it. So when I sell my house, when that day comes, I'm going to have to disclose that due to Hurricane Sandy, I replaced my roof. So your realtor or your attorney may suggest a pre-listing inspection. This way, any material defects can be brought forward before you list the home. At Tri-County, about 15% of our business serves home sellers to help provide information as to the current condition of their home so that any negatives that we may find can be made into a positive. And I think that's a very important role that we play. So what do I mean by that? So let's say Julie's house, as we know, is 25 years old. Life expectancy of many components, be it the roof, the furnace, the air conditioner, bathroom fixtures, have a life expectancy of 25 years. So to me, Julie's house is on the cusp. What has been replaced already, what may require replacement in the near future. So as a professional home inspector and any inspector, what they're going to do is evaluate all the components within the home and provide a detailed report as to the current, and I have to stress, current condition of the home, and identify any material defects so the client, be it the seller, can fix, replace, or disclose any defects found. So in my own world, my mom sold her house in Florida, and she hadn't been there in 2 years. I hadn't been there in 10 years. So when I had this opportunity of going down to visit her condo, folks, everything I touched leaked. Everything I touched leaked. And it was really because of lack of use. So I consulted the realtor. I asked that she send me up a new seller's disclosure form, and I put on that disclosure form to alert the home inspector that anything he touches may leak due to lack of use. And that put everybody on notice that this house is being sold as is, because knowing that these items leak, they can't, as a buyer, come back to me and said, nobody told us. So disclosure is actually a good thing. And, the condo folks, honestly, was a little bit dated, and the buyers weren't that concerned because they were planning to update the bathrooms and the kitchens anyway. But I alerted everyone to the fact that I knew this condition and to be careful if they were putting their hands on the valves. So as a seller, if you have a Warren 100-amp service, for example, and it may cost $400 for a simple, what we call service entry drop, instead of replacing it with another outdated service, why not provide a credit of $400 to the buyer so that they can upgrade to 200 amps? Why go, if a homeowner, let's rephrase. If, however, the inspector finds GFCIs that don't work or a gas leak at a fitting, well, that leads to a furnace. Personally, these are items that I would like to get fixed now because it does definitely fit the definition of a material defect, and it can affect the safety and the welfare of our sellers. So, Barry, should we take a break at this point?
Absolutely. Good time to do it.
Okay, because when we come back, we're going to talk about window seals.
All right.
That, I think, affects almost every home wherever anyone lives. So let's take a quick break, Barry, and we'll be right back.
Okay, you're listening to the House Whisperer Show on WWDB. Jack Milne is the House Whisperer, and we'll just take this quick break, and we'll be right back with more.
Boro Exterminating has been specializing in wood-destroying insect inspection and control for over 40 years, serving Philadelphia and the surrounding counties. All inspectors are state certified and ensure providing their clients with professional inspections and treatments. Boro not only performs conventional termite treatments, but also handles special services like historic buildings and homes with wells, creeks, or ponds. The client is assured that all treatments will be performed safely when you hire Boro to do the work. They also provide radon testing in their service area. Boro's full-time office staff is available to help you schedule an appointment. Just call 610-586-5640 or send an email request to boroinspects@verizon.net. That's 610-586-5640 or email at boroinspects@verizon.net.
Specially created t-shirts by BrainFlushGear.com offer the extreme sports enthusiast an opportunity to have a clothing line available that suits their sport. BrainFlushGear.com understands that when we get the moment where we can jump on our motorcycles, wave runners, surfboards, snowmobiles, or skateboards, it can be priceless. They offer custom artwork including silk screening, transfers, and embroidery. Speak to one of their consultants today and they'll help you create your own Brain Flush. Visit BrainFlushGear.com or email them at contact@BrainFlushGear.com.
For your septic inspection and testing needs, please consider Bucksmont Inspections. They've been serving the Bucks and Montgomery County areas for over 15 years. As members of the Pennsylvania Septic Management Association, the Pennsylvania Association of Sewage Enforcement Officers, and the Pennsylvania Association for Professional Soil Scientists, Bucksmont Inspections can inspect your existing septic system or test for your new septic system placement. Please call Rob Bowie at 215-669-4213 and say you heard their ad on the House Whisperer Show.
As the temperatures gradually rise, so do the odds of all those filthy and unwanted critters invading your home like rodents, roaches, termites, and flies. Oh my! This summer, if you want to feel safe and secure from a possible creeping, crawling disaster, do yourself a favor and call the exterminating experts at Pest Blaster for all your pest control needs, including tests for radon and mold. Please visit pestblaster.com and you'll be sold. 215-295-5555.
Tri-County Inspection Company has been providing professional home inspections, commercial inspections, and historic property evaluations for over 25 years. Tri-County Inspection Company covers 13 counties, serving both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They've performed inspections for over 70,000 clients and are members of the American Society of Home Inspectors, as well as the Pennsylvania Home Inspectors Coalition. They are licensed in both Philadelphia and New Jersey. For all of your real estate transactions, call Tri-County Inspections at 215-295-2030. For their New Jersey clientele, call 856-853-4224. In PA, call 215-295-2030. In New Jersey, 856-853-4224.
Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard.
And we're back once again with the House Whisperer, Jack Milne. Every week at this time, he is here dispensing all kinds of great advice with great topics, and today is no exception. And let's go back to Jack.
Thank you, Barry. Today, again, I'm dedicating this show to Julie from Quakertown. She had a great question. She's been in her home 25 years. She's not sure if she wants to have a pre-listing inspection. So I'm trying to give reasons why Julie should consider it. So the biggest thing I find anymore with homes that are about 20 years old are lost window seals. And if you have them, folks, you're going to notice it because as you look out, you don't really see anything except opaqueness. And it's definitely a material defect because once you have lost the seal, the window has lost its ability to insulate. So that becomes a material defect for every home inspector. So what my suggestion is that provide a quote for the replacement of the sash. Now, a double-hung window, for example, has 2 sashes. A casement window has 1. So sometimes not all the sashes of a window have failed, but just one side. So my suggestion is get a quote for the replacement of the sash and put it on the listing table, disclose it, and provide a credit. This way, as a seller, it's easier to price the home knowing the defects, offering credits if necessary, and you won't be hit with a $5,000 bill from your buyer after you both negotiated a final selling price. So isn't it better to be proactive than reactive? And, backing up to that, let's say you list your house for, $410, and you've negotiated down to $395. Now the home inspector comes in and your buyer comes back and says, well, listen, I understand we settled at $395, but I've got $5,000 more of things that need to be repaired or replaced. So that's why I'm saying be proactive. And this way you're at your $395, you've disclosed some of these defects, you've repaired some of these defects, and all those receipts should be on your listing table. So I do recommend that you and your significant other be present for the pre-listing inspection. The education, folks, is unbelievable. Questions fly back and forth, and as sellers, you may actually learn more about your home, even though you've been within the walls for 25 years, 10 years, 4 years, or whatever. So in today's market, 95% of buyers now have home inspections. And it's part of the real estate transaction in the Delaware Valley. And you have to understand why. Realtors do not want to take responsibility of the condition of the home because all they do is they move papers and they make arrangements and they make things work. So they count on the home inspector to really give a true idea as to the condition of the home. But look at it from the buyer's perspective. And this is my little story. They've flown into town on a Thursday. They visited 20 to 25 properties, including yours. So they're spending on average maybe 20 minutes in each house. The realtor drew up the offer and was accepted. So it's a multi-$100,000 purchase was made after a 20-minute visit. The buyer truly has no idea what they bought besides the neighborhood, school district, amount of bedrooms, conditions of the bathrooms, condition of the kitchen, and this purchase will allow their family to grow and mature just like your family did. So having a pre-inspection report by a licensed or compliant home inspector, along with receipts for the work completed and credits issued up front with a properly filled out seller's disclosure form, is like the trifecta in a horse race. And I don't go horse racing, but it's the only thing I could think of. And the buyer who walks in and sees and reviews all these documents are going to be blown away. Now, they may not have time to review all of them, but honestly, there's an immediate comfort level that a seller like you have done your due diligence to prepare your house for sale and will make the buyer's choice that much easier. So a realtor representing the buyer will absolutely pick up the inspector's report and look for any material defects that were found during the course of that pre-listing inspection. Now, in the same binder are the receipts from professional contractors or a letter issuing credits or maybe a home warranty. These items will make your home stand out way above the others. And if you're concerned about the condition of the equipment, a $400 to a $500 homeowner's warranty will just put all those fears aside for your buyer. So home inspections as a seller can vary anywhere between maybe $400 to $700. depending on the size and the complexity of the home. Honestly, condos may be a little bit lower, McMansions may be a little bit more, but all I can do is paint that picture. So now your house is under agreement. Everything and everyone has worked out the terms. As sellers, I advise them to make sure that the buyers actually choose another home inspector so they can get a separate opinion and also be under contract with that home inspector. So as sellers, do not allow your buyer to buy your home based on another inspector's report. That's very, very important. And I find that 6 months is about the life expectancy of a home inspection report. So when I meet with my sellers, I ask them how soon do they plan to sell. And a prudent home inspector should also advise to remove maybe any outdated finishes like shag carpet, paneling, remove and update any shrubbery. Make sure you clean the oven and clean out the clutter. And I think the hardest thing that I find is to turn your home back into a house. So, Julie, in today's real estate market, like everything else, it's always better to be one step ahead of the competition. So for several $100s, you can be fully prepared. You can sell your home honestly quicker than others, so that you and your significant other can find that quiet place that both of you can call your own. So give it some serious consideration. I do find professionally that sellers' homes do sell much quicker. And again, I like being proactive than reactive. And you don't want to be caught short. So, like I said in the beginning of your show, if you have found that your home is languishing a little bit, you thought that you had priced it right, all of a sudden you're starting at $410, now you're at $395, now you're at $360, and your house still isn't selling, get your home inspected. Be 100% ready so that you can be prepared for your buyer when they walk through that door. So, as I always say, if you have any questions, please email me. If you have any topics, go to thehousewhisperershow@gmail.com. When I was looking up this segment, I thought I may have covered it. I looked over well over 100 previous episodes. I found that I didn't. And so with today's market as it is, be prepared. Young people are buying, older people are moving on, and it's just this opportunity for readiness. So, Barry, do you have any questions?
Are you saying that the seller and the buyer should each have their own home inspector?
I do, because the seller signed a contract, let's just say with Tri-County Inspection Company, and I represented their best interest to prepare the house for sale. They presented the document, I call it a tool, on the listing table. So, yes, we had our inspection done. These are the items that were found. These are the items that we chose to fix, repair, replaced. But these are also items that we're going to provide a credit for. But due diligence says, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, this is what we did. I want you to make sure that you are under contract with a professional home inspector for a second opinion.
Does it ever happen that the two inspectors disagree?
It's rare, Barry, especially if they've been in business as long as we are. I think a lot of us are like general practitioners, where we know a lot about everything, but we have our own opinions. So if the seller said, the buyer's home inspector came back and said there should be GFCIs in all of our bathrooms, well, not in a 25-year-old bathroom. It wasn't code at that time. So he may be making a recommendation for the safety and welfare of their buyer, but it should not be on the dollar of the seller.
It's great advice. It's a terrific topic, and it's great advice. Well, while we're talking about home inspectors, Jack, why don't you give us your number again in case somebody wants to get a hold of Jack Milne?
Absolutely. Our primary number, we're based out of Marshville, Pennsylvania, is 215-295-2030. If you do live in the Lehigh Valley, as Julie did, our number up that way is 609-7880. In South Jersey, well, let's do North Jersey, 609-882-5188. And in the Delaware Valley, Delaware County, that area, 610-296-2004. When I started this company in 1985, I did not want a 1-800 impression. I want to be your neighborhood home inspector. And, again, our business, we've generated well over 72,000 property evaluations.
Wow.
So, we love what we do. Everyone walks in every day, knocks on that door. They greet the seller. They greet the buyer. And it's a truly educational experience. And that's what I want my clients to walk away with, so that they understand how the house works, what are the material defects, if any, what does it take to repair, replace those components, what's a home inspector going to recommend under inspector's tips to make that house just work a little bit better. So as I like to say on Sunday, sit back, relax, please spend time with friends and family. And I truly look forward to talking to you again next week on the House Whisperer Show.
All right, and tune in again next week for another edition of the House Whisperer Show with professional home inspector Jack Milne. And you can listen to previous programs. You can hear this same program again. If you missed something or you want to hear it again, go to our website, or Jack's website, thehousewhisperershow.com or www.dbam.com, and you can hear all the programs. And this is Barry Reisman. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to Jack again next week.
Be so hard. Now everything